Let's do a motion to elect. So if somebody wants to
I'll
bring
make
it,
that motion that we elect Chad as chair and Brenda as vice chair and do those all in one motion.
okay, right on.
I'll second that. I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. That work to do it all in one motion, okay, great. Okay, very nice. That's great, okay. Let's move on then with the agenda and go to agenda item number 5. Harrisville City Planning Commission. So this is our, we'll take public comment for or against Harrisville Ordinance 530, a zoning change application has been received from Ben Lomond Properties LLC to rezone agricultural A1 zone to commercial CP2 zone for the Weber County Parcel 11-019-0007 located at approximately 1801 North Highway 89. Bill, should we turn some time over to you for some comments?
Yes. In your package, you have ordinance number 530. So the city's received this application from Ben Lomond Properties regarding property across the street on the west side of Highway 89. On our zoning map behind me, property is currently this strip here, zoned A1 in green. On the general plan, it's this pink strip here. And that pink strip is for commercial. So this isn't a mixed use, this is pure commercial, what we're asking for in our general plan. So the staff recommendation is to follow the general plan and to develop this piece. That they're required as part of a zoning change to submit a concept plan. And as you flip to the next page past the ordinance, you have a concept plan. I don't know if you can pull that up on the screen, Jay.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
The concept plan shows professional office for medical, potentially some parking areas, some retail spaces, some restaurant spaces, and a convenience store. Okay. They're aligning the parking coming out of the Ben Lomond Views project where UDOT allowed them an access point. And then that would come in potentially to the city office portion, which is right there.
Yeah. So we'll just tie in our road to that road.
Yeah,
Will there be a stoplight?
eventually there would be.
But that will come with the golf course, not with this parcel. So we'll have to wait for the golf course to develop first. Like, with all that extra traffic.
That's pretty exciting.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
So
Super.
looking, do you remember how many acres it was? Was it like 5 acres?
3 point, it's 8.5, or is it 8.5?
Okay. So it's 8.5 acres.
That's wonderful. The challenge with most cities now is growth all up and down the Wasatch Front. And one of the things that I've said consistently, which I think still holds true, is that we can either get out in front of the wave of change and do it the way we want it, or we're going to spend time trying to catch up, and it may not be what we want. And I think this is one of those steps that will be really positive for the city. We need commercial, and this will be very helpful for the city, I believe. Well, if Bill, if you're finished, I'm going to go ahead and open it up then. Let's formally open this up for a public hearing. Anybody that would like to offer any comments for or against this proposed change to our city plan. If you'll please step forward and share with us your name, and give you about 3 minutes or so to make your comments. Anybody online like to make a comment?
I have a quick question.
Please,
Um,
speak into your microphone. We're having a hard time hearing you.
so I'm Jennifer Reeder. I live on the corner of Highway 89 and Hunting Creek Drive. I just have a quick question. Will this change the ordinance for guns being allowed to be shot across the streets in that area for hunting?
We'll answer questions after the public hearing.
Yeah, no, thank you for your question. We'll go ahead and answer all the questions after the public hearing,
Oh, okay.
but thank you. That's a good question.
Because if it changes it, I'm all for it.
Do they shoot guns over there?
Oh, yeah, all the time, every morning.
Yeah, and they hit my house multiple times, so I'm all for it if it changes that.
Buildings in the way,
Like, there's a problem with that.
Okay. Yes, please.
Yeah. So I'm Austin Moffett, I'm at 1825 North Highway 89, so my property actually butts right up against this, part of it views over. My only concern is just the runoff. It's going right to my pasture where all my animals eat, so that would be my big concern. There is a good buffer, but I just worry about that being their retention pond and then having all that nasty coming over onto my property, so
Okay.
that's my big concern with that.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, do we have some comments online that we get to?
It couldn't hear earlier because we had it on mute. That was the comments online.
Okay, okay, great, thank you.
I think you're ready to close the public hearing.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. Okay. If there's no one else that feels an urge to come forward and make a comment, I think I will go ahead and close our public hearing regarding the change to this ordinance 530. And let's move on to agenda item number 6. And that's to recommend the adoption of ordinance 530, a zoning change application by Ben Lomond Properties LLC to change it from A1 zone to commercial CP2 zone for parcel 1101900007 located at 1801 North Highway 89. Commissioners?
Chad, did you want me to address the public comments?
Sure.
I'd like you to talk about that hunting situation.
Oh, okay.
Guns, 'cause
So,
I think the buildings would obstruct that more.
yeah,
As well as
and
the
so
more
that's what I'm gonna talk about. So
Okay,
I'm gonna
thank
give
you.
some code sec. The first thing, Jenny passed me a note, and she wants to let people be aware that the public comment period for written comments will remain open until February 7th at 5 p.m. So people can drop that off here at the city office or email Jenny. And those public comments will remain open again until February 7th at 5 p.m.
Thank you. I appreciate
Now,
it.
to answer Jennifer Reeder's question about hunting, and so once the structures are being built and the site's being developed, it will trigger Utah Code 76-10-508, which prohibits the discharge of firearms within these 600 feet of these buildings. Okay, so that whole strip will have a 600-foot buffer around it, which hopefully will benefit Jennifer and some of the other people that have been.
Showing up.
Yeah. Okay, wow. Essentially, this will limit hunting greatly in that area, and so about the only area left will be this blue area here, down here along the railroad tracks, and that's even pretty limited. Maybe some spots up here on 750 on that piece, but otherwise, you know, this essentially 600 feet is going to be a big.
That's a big swap.
Yeah. Okay.
Jennifer, were you able to hear that okay?
Yes, and that makes me very happy because I'm tired of my house getting hit by shotgun pellets. So
Oh, man.
I'm ecstatic right now.
The next question was by Austin. I can't answer her question, so I'm going to turn it over to Justin.
Okay.
So we will work very diligently on the engineering side to make sure that that is not, mostly from my understanding of the way the property sits, a lot of it will be actually storm drain out to Highway 89 and onto the UDOT storm drain system, more so than back to 750 and through the storm system of Harrisville.
Okay, so I do have a storm drain that fills up all the time. It's supposed to be capped, but it still fills up constantly.
And we're gonna address that with the continued project that we have coming on 750, that's the city municipal building.
Okay, because the last time I talked to somebody, that particular ditch I'm talking about isn't shown on anything, it still fills up.
So is it the irrigation ditch or is it the?
No,
actual
it's not
storm?
irrigation, it's between, so there's my house and then my uncle's house, it's right between ours.
Okay. Well, we'll dive into that with the engineering of the 750 project and make sure that we've got all the stormwater collected and moving downstream.
So, Mr. Chair, let's make sure as we're going through the site plan phase and engineering steps getting done on both the municipal center and this project that we're addressing that stormwater issue because the land is very flat, the water table is high. And there's probably some things over there that we don't know, but we have an opportunity now to fix or make worse. So let's fix.
Yeah, let's not.
Our systems.
Yeah, with Justin on board here, he'll make sure that you're taken care of. So thank you for expressing your concern and bringing that to our attention. Very good. Okay, so any other comments, concerns about the adoption of this ordinance? Yeah, I'm excited about this. This will be great. Bill, what do you think? That would be great. Any other comments, concerns?
Sounds like you're ready for a recommendation to the city council.
All right, I think we could pass on a favorable recommendation. I'll entertain a motion to.
I'll make that motion that we recommend adoption of Harrisville Ordinance 530 zoning change from A1 to CP2 for Weber County Parcel 11-019-0007. Yeah.
Okay, a second.
I'll second.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Very good, very good. Okay. You wanna show it? Okay, let's move on then to agenda item number 7. I recommend the final approval for the Copperwoods Subdivision, a 66-unit mixed use development located at approximately 1956 North Highway 89. Bill, we'll turn some time over to you for some
So
minutes.
we have up on the screen the memo, the engineering memo that relates to this. There were several outstanding engineering items. Most of these, except for number 2, is stuff that we do as part of the recording or pre-construction. Number 2 is specifically an engineering item where they need to have an outlet structure on the new detention pond at the north end of the project to help keep the discharge stormwater clean. So the recommendation will be approval of, grant final approval subject to the engineer's memo dated January 7th and any other staff or agency comments and compliance with the code.
Okay, that's January 7th.
This is a new pond that it mentions, or is this the existing one that they're
It's the
tying into it?
right? The one down in the bottom of the southwest corner, right? Of the project.
Yeah,
What's that at the north end?
there's, it says at the north end that there's a pond as well.
Right.
Justin, can you address
I
that?
don't know.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I also had a question about that. And what that means exactly.
I know that we were looking into a secondary detention pond to cover extra. The snout is just for the low impact development and the water quality so that it flows out at a lesser rate and doesn't inundate the system. And it kind of helps any big debris not be able to pass through that snout.
Oh, gotcha. So it restricts the flow, to having things kind of settle out or whatever. It
Yes.
allows, okay.
So
Okay, so are we talking about both the north area and that south part with this?
I believe that was just on the north end.
Okay,
The north end pond, the south end, I believe, actually flows back into the north end pond. They're kind of intertied.
okay. That's interesting. So where does it, as I look back on that, where does that drain out? Does it drain out in the southwest?
Do we have another, the actual improvement plans?
Scan those in, Justin.
What's happening?
Several attached to the packet.
Yeah, I didn't see anything specific about where.
The wrong year. We need 2022.
Oh, thank you. In the wrong year.
See, it's coming up that bottom left-hand corner there. That's kind of where I was seeing.
Is that what, Justin?
Yeah.
So the western part of that right there, yeah.
So that's actually our existing.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what they're referring to.
Yeah.
Engineers memos tied
Yeah.
to existing
Okay.
pond.
There's the,
So we're gonna run from the south pond all the way back up to this one. Because the south one's just right there in that corner.
Yeah,
Okay,
as long as
Okay,
it's taken
super.
care of.
yeah. All right. Any further discussion? on the part of the commissioner? If not, who wants to give a crack at this one?
I will. I just need to see that memo back up there.
So there's three things: the engineer's memo dated January 7th, staff and agency comments, and complying with municipal code. I guess you could say also the MDA, but that's a given.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the final plan review based on the engineer memo, January 7th, 2022. What were the other two?
Staff and agency comments,
Staff and agency comments
complies with code and the MDA.
and complies with code and MDA.
For a second?
I'll second that motion.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Okay. Let's move on to agenda item number 8. This is to approve a conditional use permit for a home occupation at property located at 1066 North Wallen Way. That is Andrew Christensen here. Okay. If they're not here, should we postpone? Turn off until next month. Is he online?
we can't get the information about hours of operation.
Yes,
nature of
yes.
it.
Yeah. Well, I had a concern too, because they have a manager in the home occupation, you can't have outside employees. So,
We'll have to send them a letter that they were tabled.
yeah,
That's exactly
so without
Okay.
that here, we can't get those sort of details that we would need.
Yep.
So,
Okay, so let's enter it in then to the record that we're going to go ahead and table this discussion until either next month or the month after, whenever. Because the applicant is not here, we cannot ask them questions. Okay, let's move on then to agenda item number 9. To recommend site plan approval for the Walmart gas station at 534 North Harrisville. Whoa, that's kind of interesting.
that one.
Separate where it will be located.
Yes.
There's a map that's in the
The
corner of
southeast
the
corner.
parking lot over
I
by
see
the
it.
Domino's.
Yep, I got it.
And the subway.
Yeah, it's a good location for it. So Walmart's been putting these gas stations in other sites. You have the engineers memo dated January 7th as well. There's 4 items on gas station. This is a site plan. This does not go to city council.
Are those vacant places or what they already own?
Right,
So it's essentially the same thing, Brenda. The site plan.
Based on the memo.
Based on the engineer's memo, staff and agency comments, and compliance. with code.
and they got some drainage issues was the main thing they mentioned.
It's pretty straightforward. We don't have anything else to add or any concerns. So if you want
What's the engineer's memo? What's the date on that one?
to, till January 7th, we got it.
Okay, same one, January 7th. Okay.
And they're on, at least based on the emails we saw, they're online.
Now, one of the things that, I mean, I had, as I was looking over this sort of thing, if we hope to attract other business next to Chili's, it would be nice if we had some sort of a buffer across the street, like trees and other sorts of vegetation. What do you guys think? I just think that that would help.
This gas station's not right on a major road, they have to drive past.
Right,
Ways
yeah,
to
I'm
get
just,
there,
see, I'm
so.
thinking that they plant trees all along here to help beautify this area. It would be nice if we could.
You can add that to your motion and we can see what we can do. Justin. is
Okay.
all right. Okay.
It's your turn.
Applicant is online. If you want to talk to them.
Yes. Who is it?
Hello, this is Ryan Alvarez with Kinley Horn Associates. I'm the civil consultant on the fuel station, and we have a couple other team members from the architect team as well on.
Very nice. Tell us some more about the project. You would.
Sure. Well, I assume you guys have the kind of a site plan in front of you guys. So this is Walmart's prototypical, one of Walmart's prototypical fuel stations that they are rolling out across the country. It is going to be on kind of the Walmart Supercenter's parcel in the southeast portion of the parking lot. It will have a 440 square foot kiosk, which will service as a place to sell convenience goods, whether it's cold water, Gatorade, other items like that, as well as some car maintenance items. And then there will be an overhead canopy, as well as 8 fueling pumps underneath the canopy. And I think you guys have the architectural elevations as well, if you wanted to kind of see how that all worked together. The fuel station will be open to the public. It will not be what some may consider like a members only. It'll be more in line with a neighborhood gas station. So it is not going to be causing queuing or stacking up in one direction. It'll be able to be accessed from each direction. You guys had any specific questions into kind of how the fuel station is laid out, or kind of potential engineering questions? I'm happy to answer anything further.
The screen and see the cursor, they're asking for some more landscaping here as a buffer for the businesses to the south. Is that a problem?
We would want to look into, is that a code requirement? I mean, it is a Walmart development, so we will have some signage that we would want to be visible to the public. We understand that we want to be, respectful and courteous to potential new neighbors and everything like that. So we'd be happy to work with city, but wanted to see maybe if that's in the landscaping code or municipal code that we're required to provide additional landscaping than what's already there.
If the planning commission requires it, then you provide it.
Yeah, so where were you thinking of placing the sign?
You can see it right here on the corner.
So we're
Is that the
placing
round
Walmart
dot?
sign on the other side, but
No,
that's
right,
separate.
were they saying that there would be a sign by the gas station?
Yeah,
That's what I
so-
understood. So where were you thinking of placing the sign by the gas station?
So as of right now, where right by your mouse would be the preliminary placed sign location. And we would work to make sure we're meeting all of your guys' sign code regulations with that placement. And I believe we have Chris Everett on our architect side who can probably speak a little bit more to the signage on this project.
I don't think the sign's an issue for you. That you're just wanting some shrubbery or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, and even, because I'm just trying to think, so if we, hopefully we'll get another restaurant
Well, do you see
next to
this
Chili's, yeah.
picture of the sign with the
Mhm.
prices, and then you've got that big tree behind it? Is that what you're thinking, is you
Yeah,
want
just,
more?
yeah.
So I can clar-
What we're hoping to do is to get a restaurant directly south of there. And we want to have some sort of beautification of that area so that, just more appealing, anyway.
if I could clarify, you have a set of renderings that show the elevation and signage, correct?
What was that?
I missed what you said, what you said.
You have a set of exhibits, colored exhibits that show a rendering of the elevations of the building, and the second page is the signage.
Right, we saw that in the elevations.
yes, we saw that.
Yes, we will not be putting a sign on the corner. That has changed, and Ryan, sorry. So the sign identified on the site plan, we're not putting a sign there. The two signs that you see in color on the exhibits, our proposal is to replace the two existing Walmart pylon signs with newer signs that advertise the fuel pricing.
Okay,
So there will
Great.
not be a sign on that corner.
perfect. Just
super.
the sign over on the other side then.
That
and
makes me
works.
happy.
Is that what I'm saying, is where that round circle is? That's where
Correct. Those are the two you see a photo of the two existing signs.
There.
So
We're
then
going to-
gas will be advertised out on the road.
Out on the highway.
Okay.
Correct. And
that's
then we'll have price signs on the fuel canopy as well too. So for those people who may enter from another area other than where the two pylon signs are, they can see this price sign on the fuel canopy,
Okay,
but no ground sign.
okay, super. Well, that makes me really happy. Okay, great. And we're hoping that we can work with you guys so that you can beautify around that area, so it just doesn't look like a Start gas station. We're hoping to have other restaurants and other retail space there, and we want that whole area to be beautiful looking.
We'll drive traffic.
Right there.
Chad, are you saying maybe on the south side of the gas station is where you're hoping we can
Yes,
have bigger
yes, and
trees
yes.
instead of shrubbery? Are we
Both,
talking trees and
both,
shrubbery?
yes.
You can't grow too much right next to their tanks though.
And they gotta have some.
I mean, whatever you can, if we could get trees.
So
and
that
that
it
would be
doesn't
awesome.
interfere with people turning left and stuff.
Mhm.
It's something that shouldn't be too expensive and doable.
Right.
Okay, we'll have, if you put in the motion to have them look at that,
Super.
maybe that would work.
Okay,
Other concerns with it, other than the drainage.
You park out there?
So have you guys seen the engineer's memo that was in our packet with the notes about the drainage?
Yes, that's correct. And correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll be able to address those kind of moving forward prior to city council approval, or do we need to have those corrections addressed prior to city council?
There's no city council approval. This is the approval tonight. It'll be done.
Okay.
Project will go to pre-construction, and that's where you need to have them done when you meet with Justin and the city engineer.
Okay, yeah, we were able to take a look, and I actually kind of exchanged a couple emails with the engineer that provided those comments. And so we got actually a storm drain map. And so yes, the plans going forward will have all of those comments addressed.
Yeah, our approval would be subject to this memo, so once you start building, you'd have to have met it. Are any of those going to be an issue for you?
Nope, those all looked pretty easy to update, and we'll have those corrections made.
Perfect.
So if you're ready, you direct preliminary and final site plan approval. And then list out the conditions, which are conditions that it's subject to these engineering items and other requirements.
Okay, so I have a list here.
And you have a list, so you might
I
want to
have
make
a
that motion.
list. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and before I do that, any other comment?
I think we're good.
We're good? I think. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we approve the preliminary and final site plan based on and in conjunction with the engineer's memo dated January 7th of 2022, all staff and agency comments, and that I don't quite know how to phrase this, but that trees and or other vegetation is planted around to the east and to the south to give a little bit of a buffer there for the businesses that will be on the south and the east, and as a beautification effort. Anything else? Okay. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate your input. Look forward to having it in the city.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate taking your time today to review our site.
Okay. Very good. All right, let's move on to agenda item number 10, and that's commission staff follow-up. One of the questions I have is, we're gonna need probably 5 or 6 hours of training for this year.
Yes.
Do we have a list of possible trainings that are coming up? And
I'm going to do the training at your next meeting.
oh, good.
All right.
So maybe we'll get you an hour there,
Nice.
and then we'll do the open meetings.
That'll be another hour.
And yeah, so we'll try to fill it up with the 1 hour requirement of how we're organized and governed. So I'll try to cover that. So we'll do the rules of procedure and ethics of the meetings, and then the governance, or whatever, however it says that in the state training statute. Then to fulfill your other 3 hours, we'll send you to West Haven when they have Craig call over to his.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Or to the league.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have lots of trainings going on. That's super.
So we'll try to get that covered, but we'll also do the non-discrimination next meeting.
Homework, and you're required.
Yep.
Don't do this, do
Yeah.
that.
Be careful.
It'd be nice to have most of it in our meetings. though.
Let me
Yeah.
see what else. I don't really have anything else as far as development issues. 4887, that last night, the city council approved the preliminary Copperwoods subdivision. And so now they're gonna get the final.
Right on.
And then we'll be able to
And
start those.
the city council is working on its site, its concept plan for the municipal center.
Mhm.
And the public works building was sold. And then they'll relocate over here and they'll start, they hope to be moved in 3 years.
So what happens to this building when the city offices move that way?
This building is gonna be sold to help pay for the new city office.
Okay.
So maybe this will be converted into a gas station, a dental office or something, I don't know. Okay. The city is also selling another piece of property it has that will do a subdivision on. And Justin will bring that to you. We'll do all of the engineering and stuff and then we'll sell out the bigger lots to be developed. Okay.
So how does that, how will you advertise that? Will it be advertised to the public for an option to purchase that?
I don't know yet. I don't know if we'll just maybe look for a realtor that can just market it. for
I'm
us.
just thinking I'd like to buy them.
If you do, then let's not have you take action on that subdivision.
Right. But I haven't said I have a motion. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have a conflict and then.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll do bids and then take bids on that, but that's probably how we have to do it.
That's what I'm
So,
thinking,
just to make it fair.
to make it fair, yes.
Okay, so we'll, Jenny and I will get with the mayor on a plan for that. But let's get through the subdivision process first, and that's what Justin's working on. I don't know how many months that's out, probably several months down the road. I think that's it for me. Justin, do you have anything?
We're moving forward with Warren Hollow subdivision. Larson Lane, it's slow moving, but it is
Nice.
moving.
This is the one to the south.
Yes. Right now, that's, well, we had a pre-construction meeting last week on the Montgomery Farms subdivision, and they've started to cut roads. So they will start infrastructure probably another couple weeks out. And by all means, if any of you guys have time and want to go and do a ride around with to any of the subdivisions to see how they're coming together, get a hold of me and
That would be awesome.
we can take you around and kind of explain anything out.
Yeah. Yeah. Are treats provided?
I can only take up to 2 at a time. So
Oh.
we don't create a quorum, but
We don't want to have that.
I will take up to 2 at a time.
That's mighty generous. of you, Jason.
I don't know if Jenny or Cindy has anything, Mr. Chair, but
Okay, all right, that sounds good. All right. Any other comments? Okay, sounds good. With that, Ben, let's formally adjourn this meeting. And again, thanks everybody for attending. Have a good evening.
I just ask a quick question.
Sure.
That you guys might go open up for public comments. I live on 142 West, I'm Deanna Aguilar. Hey, Brenda. I live at 142 West, 2150 North. And I'd like to know what's going on behind my house. They're digging and looks like they're making a road and our we've been there 14 years.
Oh, tell me where you live again?
2150 North, we go down to 2000 West, 200 West, 2000 North to 200 West. So I'm on 2150 North. And I didn't
Right, so
know,
you're
is
all
it
the way-
single dwelling? Is it gonna be more
Yes.
condos?
So that
Get up
is,
here.
sorry,
Get
that,
up
just
here.
to address this, that is the Montgomery Farm subdivision.
Okay,
And that is the single family lot homes.
okay.
They are restricted with no basements. So,
I just wanted to block my view.
yeah, well,
So what about the barbed wire fence? Our yard has had a barbed wire fence
they will
around
be
it.
probably
They're gonna take
moving
all
that and putting up a nice.
Are they putting a street and a cul-de-sac back there?
Yes,
That's a continuation of the North Ogden project.
yes, it's a continuation with the North Ogden.
Yeah, because you go down the block and it's not, I didn't come down there first. We call that number on that sign and nobody ever answers.
I'll see. Make sure it's-
Yes.
Yeah.